All right. Well. It's Olivia again, back with her nighttime rants. This is going to be an everyday thing. Um, I do have my journal and I journal out my thoughts, and that's a thing. That's a thing I really do. But I also like to get here and record these blogs so that you guys see and hear that, like, I'm a real person. I record these every single day. And what I want is for you to get a sense of like where I like if you actually follow this channel and you actually care about what I have to say. Thank you so much for being here because I really do appreciate you being here. And I hope that you find my experience and my perspective valuable because, like, well, I mean, first of all, it is, but also, like, your experience is valuable and, like, you should see it as such. Um, okay. Okay. So, the first thing that I want to say is, we have hit, I think I have like 123 subscribers. Now, I cannot describe to you how amazingly proud I am. It has been a long road to get to 100 subscribers, and I am so grateful. Like, I want to know who you people are and, what it is that you want to know about me. Like, I can't describe to you, like, how happy I am that you are here. Like, from the bottom of my heart, like, I am not joking. I'm so happy that you are here and you actually care about my content, and I will try to continue to make content that is interesting for you. I guess I have realized, I've had so many different social interactions and so much life experience to be someone, I suppose, who's so, I'm not that young, but, young, I'll say young, okay. And I want to share with you guys kind of like what those experiences have looked like for me because in a lot of ways they are really funny. They're really funny. I mean, sometimes it's like very uncomfortable and mean and awkward, but also it's very funny. Like, it's very funny. Okay. Like, I've just been through some stuff that's hilarious. It's hilarious. But, today the comical thing that I want to talk about is guys. So let's talk about dudes for a second because these guys today in the world are very funny, man. So a lot of them, they have relationships or situationships. I'm not really sure. It feels like there are guys out in the world who feel like they deserve and have access to so many women. Like, there is just a nonstop amount of women that they have access to in the past and probably like in the future. And they will just like continue to go, like they're going to just keep their access, like they're going to have one and two and 17 women and in all the ways and have all these lives. And to me, it just feels like kind of ridiculous, right? Like, I mean, some of the things that these guys say, it really sounds absurd to me. Like, and it's way past, whatever is considered, normalized communication, or it's kind of I suppose I don't even know if I want to call it counterculture anymore. It is mainstream culture, but it's also like kind of on the edge. It's a little bit on the edge, just a little bit. And I feel like, one thing that I've noticed, at least in the last few months, is that some people live in so much chaos so often that, like, they don't actually know that their behavior is abnormal. They don't realize that, like, the shit that they're doing is, like, dysfunctional. It's like they're so accustomed to living in dysfunction that that is the normal. And like, I think a really good example of this is so many people having pushback to some of the Oakland schools that are closing. But I mean, from a public policy stance, those schools need to close. Like, those schools are not serving any children. The children who go to those schools are not going to succeed. They never have. They never have. Like, no one has come out of those schools and has even been a functional member of society. Like, people are coming out of those schools and they're just going into, chaos. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like, I don't think that all of the reasons are strictly, the school and the administration and the teachers and the buildings. The infrastructural problems are like some of the problem. The biggest problem is poverty. When you have clusters of poor people who all live in one particular place, this is like environmental racism. There's so many talks about this. Just go look up that term, environmental racism. But having that many poor people, and it's usually like poor people of a particular race or group. So it'll be like a whole bunch of poor Chinese people, a whole bunch of poor Black people, a whole bunch of poor Latinos, and these are all like from a particular group. It'll be like everyone in a housing project in like one block, and it's just kind of like, are you kidding? Like, there's no way for people to flourish and really integrate into mainstream society where nobody comes from like that community at all, for those people to kind of trot their way into mainstream society when they don't actually know anyone at all who's in mainstream society, because their parents are like low income wage workers who are not really upwardly mobile. Many of them have not like finished their education, and they just don't have much access, right? So like, it's everyone trying to get to the next step without really anyone knowing what the next step is. And then all of these like countercultural norms and really like factors of destitution that are playing into more and more communities being poor. I mean, a part of it, we can talk a little bit about single family homes, but it's not even really just that, because there are a lot of like high income single parents who actually do just fine. It's more about like low income mothers, I feel like, just being targeted, because even low income fathers typically tend to do pretty well. Like, their kids end up surviving and like doing pretty well. But low income mothers, they just end up being the target for quite a lot, because like women in society have it rough. So it's not actually that the mother is like incapable of taking care of the child. It's more like all of these societal factors place all of this like stress and burden on the woman, thus taking away time that she could be investing in the child, but instead is like fighting off predatory men, or trying to earn enough funds to not be evicted and pay for food, or trying to pay for childcare, or trying to figure out, transportation options. There are all of these things, right? Like, these that women are trying to figure out, and I mean, they can't really figure it out because there's all of these other things in the way, right? So it's just like things just start piling up and piling up and piling up. And then you kind of get to a place where it's like, all right, you got to get out of the rut. Like, you got to get out of the rut. And to be honest, like, most of it just comes down to having a job that pays a livable wage. If you can figure out how to make $70,000 a year, all of the other problems you can pay for solutions. Straight up. You can pay for therapy, you can pay for childcare, you can pay for private school. That's it. There's not like a ton of other things that you need to know. That, I mean, it really is that simple. It's not some like, it isn't some, how do you say, like, calculus test or some, it's just not that complicated. Like, the solution is honestly just like earning more money. Earning more money would enable you to just pay to get your problem solved. how that goes. So, yeah. Another part that's just really interesting, but also just kind of weird, is that like the society right now really is set up for you to have a very clear path toward success. So if you just pretty much stay in school, at least until your bachelor's degree, through your bachelor's degree, you will have a pretty decent life in society, even if that just means being a grocery store clerk. Because this is America. And that's the way that it's set up to be. And if you want to earn more money, then you can get a better career. No matter how the society changes, or, you know, how many robots come or don't come, whatever. If you just, you know, if you understand how the society works, then you can participate in it. And participating in the society is really cool. And you should do it. I think you should do it. So, yeah.